All right, cool. So how's everybody doing? Did you guys have a good week last week? I'm very excited because today's the last day of February, and most of you guys know that February sucks for me for trading. So I am happy to say goodbye to February and very excited about March, especially with what we have on the horizon. And what I'm talking about predominantly is the next FOMC meeting into the next federal funds rate hike, which I'm pretty confident that we're going to at least see a 25 basis point, possibly even a 50 basis point. So, yeah, I mean, I say it all the time. February for the last 5 years has been my worst month ever. So I am definitely excited about March. So March, statistically, 4 out of the last 5 years, March has been my biggest month in profit margin. So I'm pretty happy about it. But yeah, other than that, let's dive into it. Fundamentally, there's a lot going on, and I can tell you that I'd probably say like I spent the last 18 to 24 months really focusing a lot on understanding economics, what drives the markets, what influences policy, and how to digest that information and essentially use some kind of architecture to figure out what I'm going to do and position myself into the next weeks, days, months, and potentially even years positions. I am still holding EU shorts. So my 3 oldest trades that I am still holding positions on are a EU short from September of 2021. I have an N-CAD short from September of 2021, and I have Chef JPY buys from November of 2021. Those are my 3 oldest positions on the books. I'm still also holding a S&P 500 short from the top way back in beginning of November of 2021. But yeah, so I'm definitely taking in a lot of the fundamentals and using the technicals to kind of form how I'm going to work in entries. So one of the best advices I can give you is, and you know, I'm just saving you years of work that I put in. Don't just follow what the chart says. Understand that chart is a guide. The fundamentals are what really drive the market. And what I'm saying, I'm not saying like, okay, you know, let's wait for NFP next Friday, and then we're going to decide what we're going to do. No, use NFP as the catalyst for what you're going to work your entry in, but the fundamentals are what are going to be driving you. You know, a perfect example is I have no intention of shorting the US dollar at all in 2023. I will be 100% behind bullish dollar, meaning I'm selling the bejesus out of EU, GU, AU, and NU, simply because, one, the bias meets what the technicals are showing, but fundamentally, the Fed is controlling every market out there right now. So until I see that deviation, I'm going to continue to play what I've been playing the last couple of weeks, couple of months. So when we dive into the charts, you know, you're going to see that nothing really has changed in the last couple of weeks for me. I'm very dollar major driven, right? I'm looking at EU, AU, NU, GU, and UCAD. And the reason I'm looking at them is because for me, it's a very easy bias. I don't have to guess, right? It's not a 50-50 shot for me. It's very clear US dollar is bullish. There's nothing that's going to change my mind on that. So I'm going to continue to play those positions. And, you know, if it means I have to wait a couple of days to a couple of weeks to position in again, I'll do it, because I know that there's a very, very good likelihood and very high probability that I'm going to have a successful trade. And that successful trade is going to give me, you know, a very nice R to R. So that being said, let's dive into it. Fundamentally, there's really nothing this week, right? Zero. I mean, we've got a little bit of like ISM. We've got a little bit of, here we go. So we have a little bit of ISM manufacturing. We have ISM services. All that is just the cost of those, of manufacturing and cost of services sector. I don't really envision a lot of movement coming out of that. Um, the the one thing I am really keen on taking in is what they're going to be talking about. And I'll be asleep. I'll wake up for it tomorrow morning, but I want to see what the Bank of of England is going to be talking about. I want to see what the Royal Bank of New Zealand is going to be talking about. My assumption is that they're going to be essentially laying out the foundation for their next funds rates hikes, which are going to happen. I've been talking about inflation for a while. I've been saying how the numbers are very skewed. Lo and behold, if you did any digging into last week's numbers, they supported that notion that the numbers were a little bit delayed. It was a little lagging. But overall, the numbers came in extremely overvalued at what the market was forecasting. So, from an economic standpoint, inflation is not slowing down, right? You had a split room of economists that were saying we were going to get a soft landing across the board, and you had others that said that it's not going to happen. And like I said, never in the history of the Federal Reserve had they been able to pull this off, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to this time. So inflation's out of control. The U.S. labor market is extremely strong. That equates to not only are we going to continue to get rate hikes, but we're going to get rate hikes at a faster pace. I wouldn't put it past the market to forecast 50 basis points on the next Fed funds rate hike, simply because the labor market at this point can withstand it. And as soon as you start to understand the fundamentals behind that and how the market is driven by those economic standards, it becomes really easy to understand what, where, and how the market's going to move. Same thing, I've been very bearish on U.S. indices since October of 2021. Really, if you look back at my trading view post October 2021 is where I say, get ready. We are, we're getting ready for a massive sell-off, and we have. We've actually, if you look at U.S. indices, they've actually sold off almost the equivalent as to what you've seen like across the board on things like BTC and stuff. So we are definitely in a risk off sentiment. If you follow the US bond markets, it's going to really support that. So hopefully everybody's kind of got an idea behind that and understands it. So let's dive into it. Any questions off the bat, especially on fundamentals? Like I said, I've really spent a lot of time in the last 2 years really understanding the economics behind it, understanding how the analysis plays into what those fundamentals are. And it's really given me a clearer picture. It tells it honestly, it's kept me out of trades. It's kept me out of even looking at markets certain times. But it's also given me a really good bias and understanding of when and how to get back into the market. So, all right, cool. So no questions. Let's dive into it. Let's get into the charts. Does it matter that the labor market is strong due to people having to take multiple jobs to survive? So the question I'll ask is this. Does it matter to whom? So I guess the question I got to ask is, I guess the Fed, when looking at the numbers. Yeah. So the question the Fed's going to ask is how many jobs are people working 2 and 3 jobs? Yeah, you can't calculate it. So if you can't calculate it, what do analysts and economists work off of? They work off of fact, right? Not opinion. They work off of facts. So if you can't quantitative, I'm sorry, quantitative. Well, I'm sorry, man, my bad. If you can't qualify what the numbers represent, then yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? So yeah, the mere fact that the labor market is showing strength is all that matters, right? If if 1 + 2 = 3, that's all the Fed cares about, right? They're going to take the jobs numbers. If you really dig into a lot of the analysis based on the labor market, there's a tremendous amount of, we're talking millions of people that have just disappeared from the labor market. So the first question I'll ask is, where do those people go? And that's the speculative part of an economist's job, right? The economists that are making these analysis for people that make decisions, they have to speculate on where, in this case, where did all those jobs go? And the honest answer could be, I mean, well, if you just look at what the analysis shows, it's a lot of it is early retirees. A lot of people have exited the labor market. A lot of people have also gone into businesses for themselves that are not reportable businesses, you know? So perfect example, someone like me, right? Technically, you know, I am, you know, for analysis perspective, I'm an unemployed American, right? I work, you know, I am an owner operator of my own business, and someone who very seldomly ever takes a paycheck, right? All of my day-to-day operations are paid for through a business expense. But yeah, you have a tremendous amount of people that pre-COVID were in the workforce, and now they've just disappeared. There's no rhyme or reason, and there's a lot of speculation behind it, but yeah, it is what it is. Thoughts on the new JPY ECB fella? Yeah, the new Bank of Japan's head. What do you mean thoughts on him? I don't know. I mean, the guy's made 3 speeches. That was it. So I could tell you when it comes to the JPY, I mean, there's a reason. There's a reason that all the JPY crosses, you know, and I guess we could talk about this right off the bat because this will be an easy discussion. How many of you guys have really looked into the new policies and actions that the BOJ is going to be taking? What are your thoughts? Do you guys, just solely based off of fundamentals, what do you guys think is going to be happening to, hold on. What do you guys think is going to be the outcome in the, let's see. Here we go, currency index. What do you guys think is going to be the outcome in the Japanese futures market? Anybody have a thought to discuss on it? He did come across quite hawkish in one comment, I believe. So, all right. So what do you, yeah, give me what comment are you speaking of? Like, so, because this is a really good discussion on the Japanese end. Mentioned about high inflation in Japan being done. So you mean that Japan is not seeing inflation be a primary factor in their decisions going forward? Is that what you're talking about? End of high inflation. Yeah, I mean, I'm just assuming that's what you're talking about. Is so in the speeches that I've read, the analysis that I've gone through, so they will need to raise rates. They will need to raise rates because they want to end high inflation. So if you listen to his speech on Sunday, he actually was both hawkish and dovish. When it comes to rates, they actually said that they're not planning on raising rates at the current moment, that they want to sit back and wait on more data. They did acknowledge that inflation is high, just like it is across every central bank's jurisdiction. But at the present, he has no oh, for the love, hold on. There we go. At present, he has no indication that they will be voting for a rate hike on this next meeting that they're meeting with the governors. So, you know, they're not talking about doing an immediate rate hike. They're also not talking about They're also not talking about the labor market at this point. So everything that he spoke about, he did 3 speeches so far. Everything that came out of the Bank of Japan for me was just smoke and mirrors. It really didn't give me an understanding of what they're going to be doing. They did mention that they are going to be reducing bond purchases. So reducing bond purchases, unknown if, when, and at what point they're going to raise rates. That already kind of starts to put a sour taste in my mouth. That, man, I don't know if I don't know what the Japanese yen is going to be doing. So at that point, yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back. I'm honestly the lack of monetary policy is going to force the US dollar to really control what the Japanese yen is doing. So if I'm going to lean back and say, okay, wait a minute. So inaction by the BOJ and just all out, full on throttle action by the Federal Reserve is going to mean that what is going to happen to the yen? What would ultimately happen to the Japanese yen in this instance? Are we going to see bullish yen or are we going to see bearish yen? Bullish yen? So tell me, Chad, why do you think bullish yen? Not that you're wrong. I'm just asking to defend your position. Miriam, you say bearish. I tend to agree with you. I'm going to jump on your bandwagon and say I'm pretty confident that Japanese yen will go bearish with an inaction by the BOJ and essentially thwarting the US dollar to take over as the major factor in what the Japanese yen futures is doing. If we are anticipating inaction by the BOJ, then UJ would be bullish if DXY is driving it. No? Yep. UJ would be bullish. So if UJ is bullish, what is the Japanese yen doing? Yeah. So I was just talking about the yen in general, the yen in future, the yen futures market. So yeah, I mean, if that's going to happen, then yeah, I mean, I'm all, and trust me, I'm all for buying UJ. So right now, I mean, you can see my secondary list. I'm just going to be sitting with the yen futures, with yen crosses just sitting on the secondary list until I know what happens. And right as it is, I mean, I'm kind of interested to see what we're doing in this area of demand. Because if we do take out this area of demand, then I will start to aggressively buy UJ in an effort to at least get back down into here on UJ, right? So that is something I'm most definitely looking at. And yeah, I mean, I don't really see it as a far-fetched idea of UJ being bullish. I think it'll go very, very easily with the narrative of what the Fed is going to be pushing out. So, but yeah, yen futures, and if yen futures goes bearish, then yeah, I mean, I'll be definitely looking for bullish UJ. I'll be looking definitely bullish Chef JPY, bullish CAD. And depending on the technicals on AJ and NJ, I'll definitely be looking at those. The only real one that I'm not going to be interested in doing anything with is going to be EJ. EJ will just kind of sit on the wayside. I'd rather play UJ than EJ. So, but that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. All right. Let's fast forward over to dollar index, right? And like I said, we don't have NFP until next Friday. And then we don't have Fed funds rate until I think it's like the third Wednesday of March. So we have a lot of room to really move in the direction that I want to see price go into. This is something all targets for me on dollar crosses are going to be to position in at these discounted levels, and I'm taking them up. right? I'm realistically over the next like 4 to 6 months, I want to be above 115 on the dollar. That's going to be my targets. Okay. Short term, what I'm really going to be focused on is coming in here. And this is something I was looking at this morning. I really was hoping we get a little bit more of a pullback, but it doesn't seem so. All right. Realistically, let's get over here like this. So realistically, the next point of interest for me is going to be this break here, which I'm 100% confident we're going to break. All right. I don't envision any real resistance of price not taking out that high. And realistically, we're probably going to do it tonight, taking it and just continuing the move with a reaccumulation. The reason this area here was nothing of concern for me over the last like 3 to 4 days is simply because of what the bond market's doing, right? You go over to the US bond market and we'll go to the staple, the US 10-year. And on the 10-year, it was very evident that price was going to be making that new high. I talked about it in my blog about, essentially trading above this 3.9%, which we did. And yeah, it looks like we're in distribution here. I'm sure that price is going to give a little bit of a pullback. How much, I don't really know, but I'm not trading the 10-year. I don't care about it. All I care about is, are we breaking certain barriers? And on the 10-year, we definitely broke it. On the 2-year, even more so. And the 2-year is looking extremely bullish, right? You can see I've got my alert sitting up here at like 4.88. Once we take that out, for me, it's going to be very, very important that we reaccumulate here. And yeah, I mean, the 2-year is really driving what's happening right now. And that's going to correlate over to the dollar index, right? The dollar index is going to be always lagging to what these US Treasury bonds are doing. And, going into where we are, my next play that I wanted to see, I don't feel like there's any catalyst. There's no news event on the horizon that's going to get us down here in the next couple of days, right? So this isn't even a factor for me. What I was really hoping for was last week that we would at least come back down to mitigate the news candle that we had here. That didn't happen. And then even more so, I was really hoping that today we would come in here because this is where I really wanted to buy price. And it fit really nice. We had some really good liquidity that was sitting in here. This was the news candle I want us to come into. And unfortunately, we just didn't get it done. So where we're sitting at this point now, it's very simple. All right. We do have an accumulation of buy orders, right? What I'd like to see is I want to see one of two things. I want to see price either take out the distribution, right? Distribution, creek, accumulation. We ultimately take that out. We have a reaccumulation, right? So already there's no reason for me not to want to continue to buy this up. And when we get over to EU, I'll kind of show you my thoughts with that going into like London session tonight. But I'm most definitely going to be looking for continuation to the upside on US dollar. All right. And if we can get that, that'd be great. Because over on the EU side, right, over on the EU side, if we zoom out real quick, we did come into the area that I was kind of hoping for. Same thing, right? We just have continuation moves coming down. I was kind of hoping that we would come back into that New York candle. Wasn't going to happen. But what we did do is we just swept out a bunch of liquidity, right? All the Asian highs we just swept out. We did trade back into the redistribution, which caused this break right here. So I'm happy where we did. I obviously wanted us to come. I think it was something like 20 pips higher is where I want us to come. That didn't happen. So all is good. And from here, where I'm going to be looking for is any pullbacks are going to be met with sell orders for me and any continuation move. So in this case here, if we take out, and I can get rid of this because I don't really care about that. I think, what do we need? We need, I think it's like 30 pips. So we break this right here and we got ourselves a really clean redistribution. So this is going to be me playing within the pylons. And I do want to see, do we come back and trade back into the distribution that we have here, right? Do we come back into, potentially something in this general area here? Do we come back into that for a distribution? Or are we simply just going to maybe accumulate during Asian? Maybe we get a little Frankfurt move, which causes another redistro. And then I'm just playing strictly out of mitigation of that to keep lowering this down. So that's something I'm going to be watching. I'm either going to play continuation move, right? Mitigate the manipulation out of the redistro, or I want to come back into New York price action from this morning. I don't think we're going to get the pullback that I want. So that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards playing the redistros here. All right. First targets for me are going to be taking out Asian lows to confirm the redistribution. And then from there, I'm going to be targeting these lows over here to the left. Just like I said, the bond market's already taken it out. So I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about these lows here, but any targets are going to be to take this out right here. And then from there, we've got a long way to go. So I do like trying to position myself in, because from current price to the new low is going to be roughly 1,000 pips, right? Yeah, it's 1,030 pips. So that's my game plan. All right. I do like the movement on EU. I think we've got a lot really kind of playing itself off, and I just like the price action we're seeing on it. So right now it's going to be play continuation move. And if the redistros don't hold, play price coming back into this New York price action. But I really don't see a reason for price to come above this New York high with what we have fundamentally, this week. All right. Makes sense on EU. Any questions with that? All right, good. Cool. Easy, easy, easy. All right. I'll briefly touch on GU, right? So I haven't been very, I really haven't been watching GU a lot, simply because we're still bullish on GU. And what I mean by that is however, I'll preface with this. All right. We'll jump out. And do I feel that we are, let me hide the drawings for a sec. Do I feel that this is going to be a larger distribution? I do. Yes, I do. But at current price, we are still bullish here to here. And technically, we do have a distribution creek with an accumulation. So technically, it is a reaccumulation. It's going to be a reaccumulation until we get a little more price action that I can start to say, okay, change of character, my ST, maybe we come back up for another ST, maybe we get something like this, right? Either way, I'm not going to sit here and try to play all of this noise. When you think about how long this thing has been like this, we're now going into the 77th day of GU being in this area. So for me, I'll let GU kind of just sit on its side. EU way much cleaner for me. So that's ultimately what I'm going to try to play off of. Yeah. And then we'll see what happens from that. I'm not interested in trying to play all of this noise in the middle. We really have nothing. All right. I am anticipating this to be another redistribution, but again, it's kind of just playing all the order flow within itself. And I'd rather play stuff that I can try to position in and go long-term, as opposed to trying to play, these small little plays. All right. So that's my thought on GU. Now, what's going to get me involved in GU? One of two things is going to happen, right? We are either going to continue to build out this distribution. All right. Or the very first thing that I need to happen is we need to take out this low right here. So a movement down like this gets me to start looking at this redistribution and this distribution as the 2 points of interest for me to continue going lower. All right. So as it stands, I mean, we're talking maybe about another 180 pips or so. So not something I'm going to be looking at today or tomorrow for that matter. All right. With continuing with dollar crosses, right? Like AU and NU, much of the same. Now, AU and NU, very bearish for me. I am looking for absolutely, most definitely shorts. You can kind of see what I was looking at this week. I really wanted us to kind of get a really clean manipulation, right? Sweep out these highs for a redistro. We could still get it. That's why the alert is sitting up here. But what I really want to kind of focus on is, for a while, the Kiwi was the leader on the lower time frame, and we're starting to see a shift. I mean, just looking at it now, you can see that AU is down just in the matter of what, 2.5 hours. We're already down 0.3%, where NU is lagging behind at almost 0.2. So we're starting to see a shift where the Australian dollar has really started to take over as the leader on lower time frame. So noting that, that kind of gets me an idea of what I want to play. And where we are on NU, I really, obviously you can kind of see where I was kind of focusing. Do we come back up here, which is very unlikely? Or do we just kind of get some kind of manipulation, right? I really wanted us to sweep out this and maybe play into here. That's something I really wanted to focus on. But we're talking about 150 pips to the upside, or price really needs to trade a little bit lower for me to start getting involved with the Kiwi dollar. All right. I'm still very much bearish on this, but where we're sitting at with it right now, it's just nothing that I can say, all right, I'm going to get into a position off of this, where I know, realistically, I know we're not going to get a pullback on this. So it's wait for a manipulation that then confirms a redistribution and then get in on it. Going into tonight, if we get maybe something like this that sweeps out these highs, right, creates that ice, and then we can start targeting the lows. Now we have a redistribution that I can work with. All right. And that's something I'm going to be looking to do with it. Okay. So that's NU. And now AU for me looks way cleaner, right? We can see that we have, there we go. We can see that price has really given us really clean price action. Not a lot of entries. However, eventually it's going to have to show its hand, and you can already kind of see what I'm looking at here. I was really looking for a redistribution. I'm pretty comfortable in saying that we're going to get one momentarily. If price now can take out this low, what I'm going to be looking for is a mitigation of New York price action out of London or Frankfurt price, right? So I'm going to be looking for price to come back up here. Yeah, ultimately I'm going to be looking for this right here. So confirm the break and then come back into this New York price action right here, where I'm going to be looking to short it. And I'll be looking, I probably won't get up for it, but if I can get a continuation move when I do get up, it's going to be based off of London price action. But yeah, I want to see us at Frankfurt at least be close to this area. If not, I want to see London tag us in up here. So this is something I'm going to be looking for as a continuation move, strictly out of this redistribution. All right. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. I mean, we have enough to confirm this as an accumulation. The only thing I need to see now is I want to see this break. So we get that break and I'll be pretty happy. I mean, it's only a difference of, I think, like something like 10, 11 more pips. And then I'll be happy to start looking for shorts during Frankfurt and London session. All right. So those are the dollar crosses. And then the other major that I'm looking at is UCAD, right? I've been bullish on UCAD for a little bit. Been looking to position myself in some really, really clean price action. And, going back to the beginning of February where we were looking for entries, and sadly the entry comes in right during news, but it is what it is. Again, it's unrealistic to think we're going to get a pullback down into here. Nothing in the next week is going to get that. I was looking when we were here yesterday, I was looking to sweep out this, potentially give me something to play in here. You could see though, we're not getting really any evidence of even small pullbacks. So it's very much play continuation moves. Coming down into some like lower time frame. The one thing I am going to be waiting for, and this is what I wanted this morning, I really wanted us to kind of sweep out what we had in here. It ain't going to happen. So now what we need to do is just go the, what is it like? Go like the 12 to 15 pips to break this high. And it's going to be pretty simple. I either want to come back into London's reaccumulation, which will be here, or I'm going to just simply wait for the next reaccumulation here. And I'm going to play continuation move to go higher with it like this. So UCAD, very, very bullish on. Main reason I'm bullish is because the Bank of Canada is, and we may get this because remember 5 a.m. Eastern time, tomorrow morning is going to be when the Bank of Canada is going, or I'm sorry, Bank of England is going to be speaking. So we may get that pullback, we may get that break on GU. We've got the Royal Bank of New Zealand speaking tomorrow night. We may get that, continuation move on the Kiwi dollar tomorrow night. There's Thursday, there is some Bank of Canada news. So maybe that's going to be my opportunity to get something like this. We may tomorrow just play into the distribution and then finally get something for me to play on Thursday. All right. So UCAD, very much bullish. And targets for me are going to be working. Targets for me are going to be working to take out this high right here. Right. Everything I can get into, it's going to be to target that high. And ultimately that's going to be it. Quick question. If New York price action you're looking to play out of is generally Frankfurt, what's LO? Are you talking about low? Wait. If New York price I'm looking to play out of is generally Frankfurt something price, you expect to get the mitigation, never New York in New York price. So, all right, let me try to make sense of it. Are you asking, do I ever try to play a New York entry for mitigation of previous New York? If that's the question, I would say that it depends on the market cycle. So I'll give you an example. If let's say that we're in a bearish market, right? And you've got price that came into premium, it distributed. This is New York price that does this, right? And then that is New York price. So yes, I'd be looking for New York to mitigate its previous move, but it's only in a certain type of market cycle. I typically Frankfurt and London, right? That Frankfurt open to the hour, that 1 hour, right, between Frankfurt open and London open is typically where you get the manipulation sweeping out Asian liquidity, and typically New York, or at least crossover into New York. Sometimes it'll happen before New York open, but crossover into New York is typically what gives me my mitigation. So, for me, that's one of the things over the years why I don't wake up for London anymore is, yeah, London makes the move, but I'll get my mitigation during New York, if that's the question you were asking. Hopefully it is. You look for Wyckoff schematics and all while investigating in stocks also. No, I mean, yeah, you definitely could see schematics in stocks, man. Absolutely. If euro is bearish and the yen is bearish, does that mean EJ is bullish? Well, what would make EJ go bullish? Yeah, ask yourself what would make if no, I mean you asked the question if the euro is bearish and the yen is bearish, would that make EJ bullish? Just ask yourself what would make it bullish. I mean, if the yen was bullish and the dollar is bullish, that means that the euro is bearish, right? So EJ would be bearish with a bullish dollar and a bullish yen. The only problem you're going to have is you have to determine what's driving yen futures, because you just can't. And this is why you can't just say to yourself, okay, so we have a bullish dollar and we have a bullish dollar and we have a bullish yen. What's UJ doing? Well, it depends. What's driving the market? Typically, like 9 times out of 10, you'd have the yen that is driving UJ. So it doesn't matter what the dollar's doing, right? UJ is diametrically opposed to yen futures. So if the yen is bullish, UJ is bearish. The yen is bearish, UJ is bullish, right? It's only when you can definitively say, and the only way that you can qualify that as is you got to look at the price action. If it's looking like what the dollar index is doing, then it's being driven by the dollar. if it's not doing what the dollar index is doing, but it's doing what the yen is doing, then it's being driven by the yen. So yeah, but yeah, two negatives don't make a positive in trading, man. Yeah. All right, cool. So UCAD, I'm definitely looking bullish. Going to be looking to do that 100%. I'm targeting, realistically, I'm targeting above the 140 level. $1.40 is where I'm trying to get above. And you can see we're sitting right now like 136. So we got about 350 pips to the upside. All right. And then from there, we'll definitely start getting into some of this higher time frame stuff way over here to the left from 2020 and 2021. Right. This is where I think we're coming way up here anyway. So EU, I'm definitely looking for shorts going into tomorrow. UCAD, I'm definitely looking for buys. You saw the alert go off on the redistribution on AU. So I will definitely be looking for continuation plays or mitigations, right? If we can get the mitigation during London, great. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Would you say news brings price into your mitigations? Would you say news? Well, yeah, I mean, price was gonna, so if you think about from a mitigation standpoint, the market was going to go there no matter what. News manipulations just allow it to go faster, right? So instead of taking 2 weeks to get there, it'll do it in 2 hours. So yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. All right. So we talked about UCAD, ACAD and N-CAD, right? I am still very, very short on ACAD and N-CAD. I'm going to be looking for continuation plays on ACAD and N-CAD. I'm continuing to just hold down any shorts I can get. I'm going to continue to hold these. All right. There we go. So you can kind of see my thought process already. We've already built our ice. I was really hoping that we can come back into here. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. So at this point, one of two things needs to happen. We either turn this puppy around and go up about 100 pips so I can look for shorts, or we're going to need to break. We need to go about 50 pips to the downside and confirm the redistro. We confirm the redistro, right? Breaking this low. I'm going to be looking to play back into this manipulation move for continuation down to the downside. All right. Honestly, I'm not even going to hold my breath for us to get the pullback. I'm just going to play continuation moves on ACAD and N-CAD. I don't really see anything in the forefront of what's going to give us any kind of pullback for positive news, and go from there. We definitely had some really clean price action working back into here, and shame on me for thinking I'd get a third one to come back in. So I don't see it happening. I think tomorrow London time will be below this like 91.10 level, and I'll just be looking for pullbacks there to keep shorting this. All right. So that's going to be my game plan on ACAD. And like I said, the Australian dollar has already started to show, right? You're looking at almost 0.4% down, where the Kiwi Canadian dollar is 0.2. So Australian dollar in the lower time frames is taken over as being the leader. So just use that to your advantage, right? On N-CAD, you can kind of see, oh, for the love, man. For the love. All right. Well, she's where I want it to be. This is kind of where I was hoping we'd come into today. I kind of gave up on her this afternoon just because I didn't see anything. Is there anything lower time frame? Let's see. I'll be honest, like if she stays in here, yeah, if she stays in here going into Asian, what I'd want to see is Frankfurt just give me the sweep, take out the highs, and then I'd be looking for shorts. But I want to see it in that Frankfurt or London Open. And N-CAD is in a really good area where I would want to start shorting the crap out of it during Frankfurt. I may set my alarm and just peek at the market real quick. If this isn't anywhere close, I'm not even worrying about it then. But yeah, I do like where we're at. We're right back into this redistribution. Here's your distribution that caused the low, right? Made that new order flow. So we came right into mitigate, and I guarantee you we probably came right into 50 of that. Yeah. Okay. What would you risk on something like N-CAD? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's not a structure play. I mean, geez, for me to pull full risk 0.25%, we'd have to come back into some massive structure, which, I mean, it ain't gonna happen. So, yep. So the full risk that I would be throwing into that is going to be 125, but I may take, depending on the setup, like let's just say hypothetically, I get my perfect scenario and Frankfurt sweeps it, and then I get a micro here, right? So on that micro, depending on what it is, it's N-CAD. So I know the spread's already going to be crap. And I know that typically that 50 entry is going to be like 8-9 pips. So maybe I split it. Maybe I put, like $50 off the 50%, and I'll put 75 off of the 80% for a 125 risk on a 100K account. Or maybe I say, you know what, maybe we get this with no micro, we break. So now what I'll do is I'll split it maybe in 3 positions, and, have that 80 entry here with the limit order. And then I'll wait to see, I'll give it a couple of attempts in distributions coming back into it. So yeah, the most risk I'll throw into this whole thing though is going to be that. US dollar Swiss franc looks bullish. It looks bullish, but I mean, I think last time I checked, it needed something like 120, 130 pips to break either the high or the low for me to get involved in it. Yeah. So this is what I got on N-CAD. Yeah. What do you have on UCHEF? Put throw your chart in. We'll take a look at it. You're on YouTube, so I know you can't post the link, but all you got to do is just if you screenshot it, right? If you open it up in a new image, all you got to do is just copy this last verbiage right here if you just copy that and just post it in the in YouTube, I'll open up the chart. But yeah, give me before I look at UCHEF, give me your thought process on it. Maybe I've got some, or maybe you've got something I haven't looked at yet. But UCHEF, I mean, I'm definitely looking for buys on UCHEF, but I don't think it happens today. UCHEF's a very slow moving pair. So maybe end of week, maybe realistically, I don't think I see a position on UCHEF until after NFP. So, but anyway, this is N-CAD. I definitely do like N-CAD. How do I get Frankfurt and the other highlighted areas on my chart too? Just find yourself like a sessions indicator. Yeah. The ones I used to use, I don't even know if it's still on there. The one I used to use was sessions on the chart. I created my own, so that's what I use is, because I kind of had all the features that I wanted to do. But session, I mean, I don't know. There's last time I checked, there was probably like 500 variations of a sessions indicator. On N-CAD is the area it's in now a time to go lower time frame, like the 1 minute. So like, would I go lower time frame on this? Well, let me just look at it. What do you no. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I can't share it. When I go to share it on Pine Editor, TradingView says that I don't have, I don't know if it's maybe like my verification. I have no idea what, but TradingView won't let me share it. So just look at it. I mean, what would you need to do to go lower time frame? Do we have a manipulation at this point? I wanted the narrow highlighted areas like yours. Then what do you mean the narrow? Yeah, like I said, the one I used to use was sessions on the chart. I don't know if it's, let's see. Sessions. Yeah, there it is. Sessions on chart. That's the one I used to use right here. That one right there. All right. So on the 1 minute, there was a micro type one that gave the UCAD after. So if, like, would I go 1 minute here? Yeah, I mean, you're coming as soon as, so my alert would have probably been at this 50%. But I'll tell you right now, you don't need to hang out on the 1 minute. Like I can guarantee you, if I was watching this, when the alert went off, I probably would sit at the 5 minute. I'd probably sit at the 5 minute and, yeah. So here at the 50, you had to start, you had a 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. So if we would have gone here and then, all right, so I probably would have set my alert. So yeah, I would have gone 1 minute on here. So like this here, I would have looked at as a schematic: 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. If we would have gotten the break, well, if this looked cleaner, like this wouldn't have validated for a leg for me. But going into here, if this is what you're talking about here, yeah, I mean, I'd start to really pay attention to it and then try to validate it. On the 1 minute, I can tell you it ain't a validated schematic for me to take something on. On the 15-second, not something I'd validate either. So do you only play type ones, or will you trade out of an area with no manipulation if it looks good? So I only trade type ones. Yeah. I think I'm like, in 2022, I think I had like an 86% winning percentage on type ones with like an average R to R of like 1 to like 16, I think it was. And on type twos, threes, fours, fives, six, and sevens. No, I'm sorry. So types twos, threes, not fours, because fours I had separate, but two, threes, five, six, and sevens. I had a winning percentage of, I think, like 20 something, 22 or 26%. My average R to R was 1 to 2. So yeah, I only trade type ones, man. I don't work for half pay, you know. So I got you, bro. Hold on. Let's see what you got, bro. Let's see what you got. For me, let's see. For me, reclaim the range. Was hoping for a pullback, but can't see in a while. For me, next move is the 50% of equal of the big macro range. Let's see, bro. Oh, wait, hold on. I copied the wrong thing. There we go. Do I have Bluetooth on? I guess it would help if I had Bluetooth on. There we go. Let's see what you got. I'll get it. Hold on. There we go. So so is this what you're saying? Like you're looking for it to come back in here? Yeah, I mean, this is where I'm looking for it to come back into, is here or here. It's not really tradable because of the time, but on N-CAD, I was referring to going on the 1 minute and looking at this. So so what would you trade, I guess, is the question. Like what, you don't even need to go on the 1 minute for that. I mean, you could probably see it on the 5 minute. But what what validates this as a distribution for you? Yeah, what validates it as a distribution? Are you referring to like the point of interest? No, like the price action. This right here, what validates it as a distribution? Yeah, for me, the distribution just confirmed here. Well, not that it's just confirmed. It's enough for me to say it's in distribution here. 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. I won't trade it until we get that major sign of weakness. Yeah, I mean, like what makes you put that as your BC, that as your secondary test, that as your secondary test, and that as your up thrust after distribution? So like what validates this for you? Was initially, but we can't see that now. Well, yeah, I mean, that's for me, that's what I was talking about on UCHEF. It needs to come a ways for me. Yeah, we need to come back. I want it to come back right here. So I mean, it's 94.22. I want to, I mean, that's 220 pips. You know, for UCHEF, that's 2 weeks. So yeah, there's nothing I want to do with UCHEF. I'm not going to try it, buy it out of here. So I'm just going to sit back and wait. That's why it's sitting on the secondary list. So well, where it's at now, I'll just wait to see once we get above the redistros over here. I guess that's what I need clarity on because I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, for me, I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, I mean, this isn't enough for me to validate as a proper distribution. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have looked for a short out of that. I mean, would I have gone down to the 1 minute? Sure. But yeah, for me, we are in a, you know, essentially it's a non-manipulated distribution. So like what gets me into this? You know, honestly, it's going to be dependent on where ACAD, as soon as ACAD takes this low, that'll be confirmation for me. So ACAD takes that low, confirmation for me. And then I probably, yeah, look at the difference. Look at the difference between ACAD and look at the difference between N-CAD. So this is a proper type 1 distribution. This is a proper type 1. You can definitely see your change of character. You can see sell orders getting filled. The reactions in them are proper. You could see where the buy order started for the manipulation. You could see the clear rush, and then immediately you could see the micro distro in there that creates the break. So yeah, but this is the right time. I mean, my cutoff is, yeah, I mean, this, well, the entry comes in way later, but I mean, the distribution happens at 1 p.m. my time. So I still would have probably been looking at this if it was like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right. So ACAD and N-CAD, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely looking for shorts on it. CAD Chef was another one that I've kind of got my eye on, but I mean, it's been sideways for a very, very long time. You can kind of see I've just got my alerts at the high. I really wanted a manipulation. Instead, we just created equal highs. So I really wanted us to come into this. We could still do that, or I would need us to break the low and make a new order flow leg. And that's what kind of gets me into CAD Chef. But outside of that, I mean, we're kind of in the middle of the range. I'm just going to sit back and wait. So yeah, I mean, really my big areas that I'm looking at, I'm most definitely looking to short EU and buy UCAD. If NU and AU present themselves with ACAD and NCAD for continuation moves, I'm going to short those. So that's going to be my focal point for the week. And then of course indices. Yeah, I'm looking to short the crap out of indices. I mean, I've been looking to short them for a while. Gave really clean price action the last couple of weeks. You know, I'm still holding this position here, and I'm still holding that position there. I haven't been able to work in another position. I know a couple of people did snag this entry yesterday, just mitigating the 80% of this distribution that turned redistro. I am, you know, yeah, I'm definitely looking to continue shorting these. This low here is going to get taken tonight. Um, do I think we could come back up to mitigate? No, I don't think we're going to. Um, I think they'll come back and deal with this on the upcycle. I think for the most part, it's going to be just play continuation moves. So like going into tomorrow New York session, when equities opens happens, and you can kind of see what I wanted. I really wanted sweep out the highs, give me the redistro. They didn't even want to do that. So we did make a new low. Yesterday's New York price action is probably where I'm going to be looking for pullback. Maybe we can get something up like this tonight. And then at equities open, wherever we are, I'm just going to be looking for continuation moves to the downside. So, any kind of movement where, we start to see either an accumulation, just wait for manipulation, and then confirmation of phase D to confirm redistro, and then I'll be shorting them. Or, in the case of this New York price action, if we come up into like the 80% of the whole thing of this move, I'm going to be looking for signs of distribution to just continue shorting these. There's really nothing in the foreground of news that's going to get this to go any higher. Could you quickly explain what you mean by validation of a schematic? Yeah. So what is a schematic? It's a combination of points and phases. So you just can't go and say, oh, we have a type 1 distribution. You have to validate each point. So look at your phase A. What are the characteristics of a phase A? What is a job description of phase A? Do you have that? Check yes or no. Then go to phase B. Do you have everything that you need to validate what happened in phase B? Does the price action dictate what your anticipation is and what is actually happening in a distribution? Phase B is where they're filling the bulk of their sell orders. Are you seeing large volume being filled in the form of sell orders? Do you see the reactions, right? Obviously, if you're not seeing a move that would dictate large sell orders being filled, then you don't have large sell orders being filled, and then you have to ask yourself, phase C, did you have, that's the second change of character. Did you have a manipulation that changed hands, right? Can you physically validate that the changing of hands has occurred? Validate the schematic. Just don't put BC, ST, UCAD. You want to validate it, because otherwise, what is the difference between you putting BC, ST, and UCAD on a chart as opposed to somebody who is putting a trend line and, putting an old Head and Shoulders on their screen and trading, when price breaks the neckline or something? It's a pattern trader. That's all it is. So my suggestion would be just definitely understand and validate what is happening inside of that, Yeah. My take on N-CAD. Let me see, bro. What you got? It could be. Yeah, it could be. I still for right now though, you have a valid 1 drive, 2 drive, 3 drive. So it's a Head and Shoulders, so I won't get involved in this until we have a major sign of weakness. So once we get a major sign of weakness, then I'll look to, well, I won't even look to trade this. I would trade the redistribution that occurs after it. But yeah, you definitely could. Yeah, and that's kind of what I said. If at London we're here and we sweep the high, I'll start looking for shorts. All right. Yeah. So U30, yeah, I'm looking for shorts. Any pullbacks, I'm looking for shorts. Nothing in today's New York price action gets me wanting to do anything. So it would be, in the 50 or 80% of this move. Specifically, I'd be looking at the distribution during yesterday's New York session. On SPX, it's going to be the same exact thing. You could see U30 definitely the leader. SPX hasn't broken the low, but I'm not too worried about it. And same holds true. Like you could see what I was looking at this morning, sweep out the high, get a distribution, or play into yesterday's New York session. I think that's still going to be probably what we play into. Yeah. And I'll be looking for shorts. NASDAQ as well. I mean, NASDAQ, we could still, honestly, we could still get the sweep, and I wouldn't put it past it. We could still technically sweep out this high and then look for the shorts for the redistribution. Because right now, all we do have is like a little Pac-Man action. We got the higher highs and we got lower lows. So a little bit of Pac-Man going on. And yeah, I mean, I don't envision any kind of bullish moves. I think, I think it's even out of the question to really expect us to come into this. I think it's going to be, if we do anything, we're going to sweep it very, very quickly, and then she's down again. So, and the whole basis of what I think is going to be happening, it's just going to be profit taking, and then just a quick manipulation to get price up into a little more premium so that more sell orders can get filled. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking at with indices, is just play continuation shorts. It's, I would ordinarily say it is prudent to expect, it's prudent to expect that we have sold off for the month of February. We have sold off the better part of like 1,200 points. Now we're almost at 2,000 points from the high. Right. But February, we're for the start of February was here. So we're about 1,200 points in February that we're down. And from the high, we're down almost 6%, 5.75%. It'd be prudent to expect a pullback, but realistically, I mean, you look at, as an investor, you look at culmination of bond yields, you look at outlook for the Fed. If you look at, I've been posting a couple of blogs on my website with some economic, data and just some of my like research that I've been looking at, and what the outcome that I've been, essentially like putting towards what I'm going to be trading. There's a lot of speculation that the peak rate right now out of the Fed is going to be like 6%. And I literally 3 weeks ago, people were talking about soft landing. We might not even hit 5.5%. So yeah. So have I studied? No, man, I haven't. I know a buddy of mine that took his course. So he's very bland, man. I can't listen to his stuff on YouTube, man. It's very, very, very bland. You two share a lot of the same ideologies and have similar teaching styles. Really? You think I have the same teaching style as him? I thought, man, yeah, I've listened. A buddy of mine took his course. And yeah, we'll just say that he took his course. Yeah, because you trade this. Yeah, I mean, I do know this. I mean, he's very, very knowledgeable about understanding Wyckoff price action. So, if you can weather his videos, man, yeah. I mean, I know he focuses a lot on, well, I know he does a lot of like SPX, but he'll focus on one ticker every couple of sessions. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool to understand it. Yeah. No, he is very bland, man. He reminds me, I know a lot of you guys are young, but he reminds me of, what's his name, the teacher from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Bueller, Ferris Bueller. Yeah, he reminds me of that. Am I watching gold? I am not watching gold, man. What do you got on gold? I mean, I'd be looking for shorts on gold, but I mean, I think we looked at gold. We looked at gold maybe like a week ago. Let's see. Was it here? Hold on. I thought I had some marking on it we were looking at. Yeah, we were looking at it up here, and then I was waiting for it to redistribute. Do I have it maybe on here? No, I got nothing there. I mean, I'd definitely be looking for shorts, and I'd be looking for shorts in, yeah, hold on, let's see. Waiting for the new low. I don't think we're going to get this new low yet. I think it's going to come up here. Now, measure this out. Measure from this distro here, measure that out. Wherever the 50% is where I'd have my alert. Let's see. Hold on. So we redistribute here. Oh, for the love. We got a tight two distro. Did anyone look at this distro already from the 23rd? Is this what you're looking at, bro? Hold on, let's see. All right, I got you, bro. Yeah, you got it. You got it. I just don't think we get this redistro yet. Well, I think there's an opportunity to short it from up here before waiting on this redistro, is what I would say. Did futures break that? The 23rd. No, it did not. I wonder if silver did. Silver manipulate on the 23rd? Nope, it did not. All right. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean, you're definitely distributing. Yeah, if it pushes higher, I would be looking in here. When was that? That was Wednesday. Wednesday, 6 a.m. to 7:30. Wonder what news that was. Wednesday morning. So that was probably Euro news. So this is probably Euro news. Wednesday, the 22nd. Was it Euro news? I think it was Euro news. Wednesday, 22nd. Yeah, Euro news. And then G20 meetings. It could have been G20. Anyway, this is where I'd be looking in here. If it can get one more push to the upside, I'd be looking here to try to catch that. And then once you break that, play any kind of pullback continuation. What's the reasoning behind putting a fib on the whole leg rather than the manipulation candle alone? I guess the question is, why don't you put it on the whole leg? What's the reasoning that you only look at one part of the equation? Yeah, I mean, I like to have more than one reason and multiple confluences for me to kind of decipher what I want to do. Yeah. I mean, gold could be a good, decent play. I think I've kind of abandoned gold because you can kind of see me walking this stupid thing down and it just never gave me a pullback. So the entire month of February has just kind of been blah, you know. But yeah, this is if you can get it in here, this is where I'd be expecting it. So yeah, dude. I was watching CJ. I think Thomas, man. Thomas, did he? I don't know if did he catch CJ? I know he was watching it. Where's his chart? Let me You see his chart. What do you got, bro? Yeah, but there was something. What do I have? Let's see. What do I have? Oh yeah, here we go. This is what I was waiting on. This is the last time I looked at CJ. I looked at CJ maybe what is it? The first week of February. So I was waiting for it to come in here. Let's see. What did old Thomas get? I thought he posted what he had. Oh well. I thought he sent me what he had. Anyway, yeah, I mean we definitely have a nice little distro, but there's clean price action in there. Oh, looky. I wonder where that came. I wonder where that came. That was 8 o'clock. Yep, 8 o'clock. Where did she? Let us see. Right into the 80 of it? Are you kidding? Yeah, I figured. Yeah. She had to have come. No, there's something else in there. Where else did she come? Hold on. She came somewhere else. Where did she come? All right, so manipulation was here. Is that where she came? This 80? Yeah, I think is that what you got? Hold on, let's see. Oh, just shy now. I'll have to find it later. She came into the 80 of the bigger one. Let's see. 80 of the bigger one. Yeah, but there's still got to be something in here. It's obviously it's mute at this point, but I definitely would not have had a limit order. Stop loss would have been too big, but yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna wait. You can see my alert sitting down here. I'm still gonna wait to hear what Bank of Japan's doing before I do anything, before I waste any resources on it. So have you researched if certain news events compared to others have a better probability of your bias or of things playing out? Have I researched if certain news events compared to others have a better probability of my bias? I would say that I've researched all different types of news events, and I know which ones to pay attention to and which ones not to. I know which ones to sit back and wait on manipulation or expect manipulation, and which ones I very seldomly would even consider creating manipulation. So that's one thing. Yeah, I would say when it comes to news, that's something I've definitely extensively looked at. And you do it for so long that you can look. All right, so I know, I know that pound GDP in the current climate really isn't going to move the market. I know that Australian funds rate will. I know that CPI, PPI data definitely at this point is going to. Why? Because we're battling inflation. So all inflationary numbers are going to be extremely important. I know that labor market statistics are going to be extremely important. I know that consumer confidence is not going to be something that's going to be moving the market at this point. So like I know which events are going to cause or have the potential to cause manipulation. Yeah. Um is that 3 drives on or 4 drives on the what here? You talking about this? Um let's see. All right. So no, it's 4 drives. Yeah, 4 drives. Hmm. I'll be honest. It's actually looking more like a reaccumulation. From here, from here, I haven't really looked at CJ and all of this, but from here it's looking like a reaccumulation. It honestly doesn't matter. Like I wouldn't waste too much time thinking if it's a reaccumulation or not, because in order for your at this point, in order for me to get involved in sells, it's got to break this low anyway. So, and if that's the case, it takes out the manipulation that would be the reaccumulation start. So yeah. Marking it up. Yeah, yeah. So like just ask yourself, where's your first change of character? Right. So first change of character for me would be right there. Um, yeah. First change of character would be right here. So that's your trading range. So you have your climax to rally, right? It's a deeper retracement prior to the previous one. This one here, man, I don't even know if that'd be a 38 too, but potentially your PSY. Then you have your secondary test. Do sell orders get filled? Yeah, they do, right? We could get the reaction. You actually got a distro, redistro. And then what happens? Price accumulates, sell order gets filled. Yeah, I mean you can see the reaction. So that would be yeah, that'd be your next secondary test. And then what do we get? We get an accumulation of orders and then the manipulation to take out the highs, and we have a distribution and clear signs of final sell orders being filled. So like it doesn't matter because I would need this to get broken anyway to start selling it. And if that happens, then the reaccumulation theory goes out the window. If I was bullish on this, if I was bullish on CAD, I'd actually would be looking for a buy out of here just because of when you look at it like that. um this should have been the accumulation. This was or potentially could have been another secondary test, and then they sold off, accumulated, manipulated all the lows right back in to previous demand, jumped the creek and made a new high. So yeah, this would be one that and it very easily could be two parties at play here, and yeah, that this is why I would just sit on my hands on it. Yeah. You say deeper retracement for the BC to AR, but doesn't the PSY have a deeper retracement? No, it doesn't. Nope. I mean, you're here. So I guess if we were gonna, if I was gonna look at, um, yeah, if I was gonna look at this as your retracement, where's your previous retracement? And there's no retracement in this, so it'd be that. So that's why I said I don't think that's a 38.2. I think more that's like a 23.6, but it really doesn't matter because I'm not tuned. Yeah. Um, would COT reports give you a better idea of CAD? No. Yeah, like what would you want to see on the COT reports? COT reports will give me a better understanding of what the Canadian dollar is doing, but not CAD. Once that low breaks, what's your target area if that retraces? I honestly don't know. I'm not interested in trying to short this. So not until I understand what the Bank of Japan's going to be doing. Missed most of the stream. Would I need to look on your? Yeah. If you go over to my website, I'll this is where I'll update everything. If you just go to the website, just scroll down. All the upcoming Zooms will be here. So you just click on the link. And you're good to go, man. Yippers. Let's see. You have explained this in the past, but what is your reasoning for not monitoring volume while trading the Forex market? I don't have any faith in the volume that you're getting out of these brokers. So I guess my question would be this: what evidence do you have that a Wanda or FXCM is giving you the true volume? Because I guarantee you, if you pull 3 charts up, one from a Wanda, one from FXCM, and let's say the other one from Saxo or whatever, I guarantee you can get 3 different types of 3 different numbers of volume. So if you don't have consistency in the, I guess, in the indicator, why use it? And truthfully, I mean, most of you guys that have traded like with me, you don't need the volume indicator to see the volume. I mean, you could see it in the candles. So as long as you understand like what you're looking for, the volumes are the true indicators of all. The candles are the true indicators of volume. Can you make a column on Discord below announcements website? I don't know if I can actually. Hold on. Let me see. I'd have to remember. I have to try to remember my password to get in. Actually, hold on. Didn't I pin it? No, hold on. Oh, here, hold on. I'll just pin the sucker. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Yeah, because I have 2 profiles on here, and my admin profile, I got to remember what the ID or the email I used or whatever the heck. I haven't really messed around with the Poria group in a long time with like adding that stuff. I kind of left it up to Sam. So yeah. All right. Let's see. It was just odd trying to pull up your website. Had to look on YouTube and then click the description and then your website and then wait, what? You had to look on YouTube, then click the description and then just like if you just click on, I pinned it under announcements. Here, I'll even put it under, let's see. I'll pin it under my ideas too. The way Sam had it set up, like links get like, here we go, pin it. Links get the moderator bot that he gets. I mean, I think mine gets through it, but yeah, all you do is just click on the website, bro. I'll go take you right there. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no worries, man. I mean, when referencing to the first change of character. All right, hold on. I got to go back to so by deeper retracement, you mean the previous leg? like with your original buying climax to AR, as it is a deeper retracement into the compared to the previous leg. So your phase A defines your trading range. So your climax to rally needs to be a minimum of a 38.2 pullback, and it needs to be a deeper, yes, a deeper retracement than the previous, either preliminary supply or preliminary support. It's what I mean. I guess the question is, what would a change of character be defined as for you then? I'm working on building a new computer. I'm gonna I've got some like special UV lights I got in for it and stuff. It should be pretty cool. I'm actually it's all in pieces on my in my office on my second desk. But so yeah, what's a change of character? EG hit 80% of the previous redistro. So I looked at EG. I looked at EG this morning. Where am I waiting? Oh, I'm just waiting for this break right here. Yeah, that's all I'm waiting for is this break right here. It hit 80% of the previous redistro. The previous redistro. So when you're seeing that it potentially stopping after getting to your POI. So that's the definition of reaccumulation for you, or I'm sorry, reaccumulation. That's the definition of change of character for you, is seeing that it is potentially stopping after getting to your POI. Yeah, I mean, for me, there's a little more into it. Like if you read the Wyckoff methodology book, and if you read the Richard Wyckoff tape reading book, it goes into a little more detail on what a change of character is. The easiest way, the easiest way to quantify what it is a, yeah, it has to be a deeper retracement than the previous leg within the schematic. So it'd be your PS or your PSY, and it has to be a deeper retracement than those. And in order to validate the preliminary supports or preliminary supplies, those need to be a minimum of a 38.2 pullback. So that's the first part of the change of character, is it just needs to meet that. And then from there, it's validating the actual price action within it. You know, phase A is very clear. There should be a large amount of volume. So in a distribution, there should be a large amount of sell order volume coming in. Because that's what's going to kind of help the train slow down when it's coming up to that intersection, right? I mean, think about a ranging market. That change of character, slowing price down to start filling sell orders, takes a lot of initial volume. So yeah, for me, that's where the validation comes in. This one we are in now. My fault. Here is what I'm talking about. Do I want to buy EG? I do not want to buy EG. No, bro. I could care less about EG. let me ask you a question. What makes this thing bullish? Hold on. What? There we go. What makes this thing bullish from here? I mean, or I guess what's your target? Like, where are you going to take it to? For me, I'm only waiting on sells on this. So I'm not interested in trying to buy it. And honestly, the whole reason this bad boy's on the secondary list is because I'm not interested in watching a fight between a one-legged guy and a blind, deaf, and armless something or other. Like, I mean, you're looking at a battle between two very weak currencies at this point, and I mean, just look at the movement you've seen on EG. I mean, you've got in the span of February, heck, in the span of, when was this? So in the span of December 16th to current, we've seen price go 200 pips up. Yeah, we've seen a 200 pip range 75 days. So I bid you good luck, man. That's what I'll say. I guess maybe I was looking at shorter term play out of order flow. Yeah, I mean, good luck. I'm waiting for the big sell. I'm not interested in trying to fight this. You know, I'll let it do its thing and see where it goes from there. But yeah. Yeah. Other than that, anybody else have anything else? If not, I'm yeah, I've got a couple little things I've got to finish up. And yeah, I'll be I probably will get up early. I ended up sleeping in today just because I felt like, yeah, why not? And yeah, I'll probably be up first thing in the morning. I might even set my alarm and get up maybe to catch like a crossover move. Yeah, man, always. Absolutely. What do you got here, bro? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. I mean, do you know where this hit? Hold on. Do you know where that hit? Yeah, this was EG was my very first. I started trading in 2017. EG was the very first schematic I marked up on the higher time frame. Yeah, my suggestion is measure that move that UCAD and just fancy where that came to right there after breaking the low. I'll make you a bet that it comes to smack dab 80%. So yeah, sounds good. Cool. Well, listen, guys, thanks for hopping on. I'll upload it as soon as it's done. But yeah, thanks for hopping on. I'll catch everybody later. If you got any questions, hit me up. And yeah, have a great evening.